Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our first speaker this evening. I used to work for the Stress Management Society as their business development manager, and I met this gentleman, Adam Shaw, through the Stress Management Society, and we've since become very good friends. He actually is the founder of the Healthy Heart Academy and also the creator of the Active Energy System as well. So please help me welcome Adam Shaw.
Hello everybody, it's my great pleasure to be here tonight and be invited by Fezza. As he's already told you, we work together at the Stress Management Society. So what we do, I'm about energy and getting good energy up in the room, and I'd just like to know straight off the bat, is there anyone in here, by a show of hands, who could use a little bit more energy in their life? Just so I've got an idea. Right, there's a few tentative, a few sort of half ones. There's a bit of enthusiasm. Is there anyone who would like to be just a little bit healthier?
Yeah.
Right, is there anyone who wouldn't, just out of curiosity? Right, that's good. And is there anyone who'd like to be just a little bit happier? Just a little bit? Just so I know. Good. And is there anyone in here who likes to have a little bit of fun in everything they do? Is there anybody that falls into that? Right. Is there anyone who doesn't like to have a little bit more fun? Just so I know. Just anybody? Okay. just sort of checking. Okay, so the first thing is, why am I asking you to put your hands up? Well, it's been proven that we learn more when we're interactive. So this is going to be an interactive talk. You're going to get involved. You're not just going to listen, you're going to get involved. And I have got a groundbreaking technique that's just been scientifically researched that can make you healthier, happier, and give you a little bit more fun in an instant. Is there anyone who'd be interested in learning that, just by a show of hands? Okay, first thing off, I need a couple of adventurous volunteers to come and join me at the front. Is there anyone who'd like to join me at the front? Michael, fair play, come with me, my friend. Anyone else who's feeling a little bit adventurous? What's your name, sir?
Peter.
Peter, come and join me at the front. We're going to demonstrate a technique now that instantly increases your health, instantly increases your happiness, and will add you a little bit of fun along the way. Now, has anyone been in those conversations where you just feel the energy level draining and somebody's telling you all their problems and you just feel the energy's going down? Has anybody experienced that? Well, this technique will change everything for you. Okay, so I just want you to picture the scene. You're in that draining conversation, or somebody's nagging or having a go at you. This instantly, it's been proven to reduce your blood pressure, scientifically proven. And when you're in that thing, you just think to yourself, right, now is the time to use it. And all you do is you start moving your arms like this. And right, chaps, give me some backup here. I'd like you to give Peter and Michael a hand. And now, folks, it's your turn. I'd like you all to stand up. Right, are you ready?
Yes.
I want your best. Give yourselves all a hand. That's brilliant. Now, who's feeling just a little bit happier at the moment after that exercise? That's most people. Is there anyone not, just out of curiosity? Anyone feeling a bit self-conscious? Okay, let's try it again then. So if you're not feeling happier, who's feeling just a little bit happier after that exercise? There's a few people going, oh, I'm not saying anything. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of fun tonight. I'm going to give you some really serious information, but I like to infuse a little bit of fun in it. So we're going to, now that we've got the chicken theme going on, and occasionally I'm going to get to a point where we don't want to be there. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think of that? And you're going to say, you must be clucking mad. Okay, so I just want you to sample it. What do you think of that?
You must be clucking mad.
That's the spirit. Now let's just raise the energy sort of 10%. What do you think of that?
You must be clucking mad.
Fantastic. Now you're really getting into the spirit of it. So we're going to talk about serious subjects tonight, and we're going to look at a light-hearted sort of thing. We're just going to sprinkle a bit of light-heartedness. So I'm going to go into a heavy area now. In my life, I had two influences, and especially in my 20s, I had one influence, which was my parents. Now my parents, they wanted the best for me. They wanted everything that was good for me, and they wanted me to do things that just felt so wrong. They wanted me to study hard at school, when all I wanted to do was have fun. They wanted me to go to university, but I didn't want to go. I wanted to get a job, and I wanted to go off, and I wanted to travel the world. But they convinced me that going and working in a merchant bank when I was 17 was a really good idea. So while all my other friends were off travelling the world and having fun, lucky for me, I was stuck in a merchant bank working in the city. I was commuting in each day and feeling dead. I was feeling brain dead. I felt my essence, my energy slipping away from me. And everything seemed to go wrong. And eventually I just had enough. I had so drained. As a 19-year-old, 2 years down the line in the merchant bank, everything started to go wrong. And I had no energy, I had no motivation, and even the weekends, I couldn't enjoy Sunday because I knew Monday I had to go back to work. Now I'm guessing that the reason that you're here is because maybe there's an element of that. And actually, what do you think of that? That's your cue, folks. Let's just go back again, rewind. There I was, working in a merchant bank, having no fun whatsoever, and I was feeling drained, and I was only 19. What do you think of that?
You must be.
And I was completely batty. And this just reached a point where I thought, I've got to do something different. I can't tell my parents because they're not going to agree with this. So I handed in my notice, I got myself a place at an American summer camp, I left my job and I went home one day and I said, oh, I've just quit my job and I'm going to be working at a summer camp. Oh, I'm a little bit quirky and a little bit light-hearted, and my family went, yeah, of course you are, Adam. Then one day I actually left, and 2 days later I was on a flight. So while they were all on me saying, this is a stupid move, I felt great. And then when I came back, I was unemployed for a bit. I eventually became a nurse. I had to work on Sainsbury's checkouts first, and I have to tell you that wasn't overly inspiring. But I eventually ended up in nursing. And the same thing, my parents were telling me all the time, my whole family, you need to get your degree, you need to study this, you need to do that, you need to buy a house, you need to get a car, you need to plan for the future. And all I wanted to do was have fun. And I got into here and I thought I'd love to just go travelling the world. My parents said, you should get yourself a house. You should get yourself some security. You should look forward to the future. You should plan, be meticulous. Take these things seriously. And I thought, it doesn't feel right. And what do you think of that?
You must be.
And I was, yes I was. And it didn't feel right. But then suddenly, as a nurse, I started working on care of the elderly wards. And suddenly I had a new influence in my life. These were people at the end of their lives, in their 80s and 90s, who'd had their whole life to reflect upon. All their life they were able to look back and they'd reached a stage where they were dependent on me to use the toilet. So they've had all of their life to reflect on what they thought was important. And they started to have an influence on me. And when I went up to these people, looking after my patients, I said, my parents want me to get a house, but all I want to do is go and travel the world. I just want to backpack, stick a backpack on and have that free spirit, that sense of adventure. But my parents said, that it would be better to get a mortgage, to get a house, to settle down. And do you know what the elderly people said to me? They said, "What do you think of that?"
You must be a
Exactly. So my parents are here telling me, my whole family's giving me this great advice of how to plan my life. And the care of the elderly are about to die, who are dependent on me to even go to the toilet, who've had the whole benefit of their whole life. They're telling me, go for it. Go for it. And these two influences then became polarities. And it made me realise there is no good and there's no bad. The life is made of opposites. You cannot have love without hate. You cannot have dark without light. You cannot have poverty without abundance. Everything's about polarity. And everything happens for a reason. So if something doesn't feel good, it's there to show you that this doesn't feel good. It's there to show you that your heart is communicating with you. And if something does feel good, your heart is telling you yes. So I don't really care what you think about tonight. I really don't. And you might think, well, what's the point of me being here? Well, it's not about what you think. It's about what you feel. I'm not communicating to your head tonight. I don't care what your head thinks. Our head is responsible for sabotaging just about everything that goes on in our life. Who's ever been in that position where your heart is calling you out to one thing? You'd really love to do something, but your head talks you out of it. No, I can't do that. It's not going to work. Anyone been there? That's because we've got two brains. We've got a brain here. Now this brain gets programmed like a computer. Like a computer. Now, I could be young and my parents could say, right, well, no one in our family ever gets a load of money. And my computer goes, right, that's a program, send. And it runs throughout my body. All of my life until I either change it, identify it, or live it. Our heart is always communicating to us from another way. Now, your heart has a separate intelligence all of its own. Your heart was developed before your brain in the fetus. Your heart has 40 to 60 times the electrical amplitude of your brain and can be measured all over your body. Has anyone ever seen or had an ECG? Anybody? Well, you know that you can put sticky labels anywhere on your body and measure the beat of your heart. Your heart is an electrical current. It's an electrical organ. It generates electricity. So from a point of view of a house, your body is like a house. You're constantly running an energy field within your body, just like a house. And what happens in a house if the current isn't grounded? Does anybody know? What could happen? Anybody? Sorry?
Probably burn down, can't it?
Yeah, it can. And what would happen if you short circuit or you touch something that you shouldn't? Yeah, you would. What's your name?
Mark.
Mark, thank you. It's very true. Any electrician knows you have to ground a current to make it safe. And your body's the same. Now I'm going to give you some symptoms of not being grounded. Okay, here's a few symptoms of what happens when you're not grounded. Now the trouble is, nobody at school teaches us this stuff. No one teaches us that our body is an interactive energy field. Nobody teaches us that this is essential for life. Yet if you don't learn to ground your energy, if you don't learn that your body is an interactive field of energy, it's a current, and how to ground it, well, here's some of the symptoms that can happen. The first one, you lose motivation. You can lose focus when you're not grounded properly. You start to wonder what's going on in life. You'll know someone who's not grounded if you've ever asked somebody a question that's direct, that usually needs a yes or a no answer. And they'll talk for 10 minutes, and at the end of it, you don't even know what they've said. Has anyone met anyone like that, just out of curiosity? It's pretty much the whole room. We've all been there. People that aren't grounded, they're not connected, so they're not listening to your question.